This happened last summer during what was supposed to be the perfect weekend getaway. There were 6 of us, 3 couples, and we'd rented this gorgeous old lake house up in northern Michigan. Remote, peaceful, no neighbors for miles. It sat right on the water with a private dock, kayaks, even a fire pit. The kind of place that looked like a screensaver during the day and felt like a dream at night. We got there Friday evening, grilled some burgers, drank a bit too much, and by midnight, we were all still wide awake, laughing around the fire. At some point, someone, I think it was my friend Jason, suggested we all go for a midnight swim. It sounded dumb at first. The lake was pitch black, and we'd been drinking, but the idea stuck. Before long, we were stripping down to our swimsuits, grabbing flashlights and Bluetooth speakers, and heading down the dock barefoot and tipsy. The air was still warm, the water surprisingly warmer. We jumped in one by one, splashing and laughing and trying to freak each other out about lake monsters. Someone played music off their phone, and we floated around on pool noodles and inner tubes under the stars. It was peaceful, almost too peaceful. About 30 minutes in, my girlfriend nudged me and whispered, "Did you see that?" I asked her what she meant, and she pointed toward the woods across the lake. It took me a second to spot it, a tiny flicker of orange light, like a match being lit, and then another. It was faint and far off, but enough to catch the eye. "Probably another fire pit," someone shrugged. "Who the hell else is out here?" I asked, scanning the shoreline. There weren't supposed to be any other houses within a few miles. That's what the listings said. But whatever. We were drunk, it was late, and no one wanted to kill the mood. We chalked it up to someone camping and went back to swimming. By the time we got out and dried off, it was pushing 2 a.m. We laughed our way up the dock, talking about breakfast plans and who snored the loudest, still joking as we unlocked the front door and stepped inside. And that's when everything changed. The front door was unlocked. We were sure we'd locked it. We were meticulous about it. We even double-checked before heading down to the lake. But now the door gave way without a sound. At first, we thought maybe someone forgot. Maybe one of us had come back for a towel or beer and left it open. But then I noticed something even more off. The lights were on inside. All of them. Every room. We'd turned off every light before heading out. I remembered it clearly because we didn't want bugs piling in. Then came the worst part. The rug in the entryway was crooked. A chair was pulled out at the dining table. One of the sliding doors to the patio was open a few inches. None of us said anything. We just looked at each other. And that's when Jason's girlfriend gasped. She pointed to the kitchen counter. Her purse, which she'd left zipped and untouched, was now wide open. The contents spilled out. Lipstick, gum, a tiny flashlight. Everything scattered. That was the moment I felt my stomach drop. Someone had been in the house. We checked every room, every closet, even the attic hatch. Nothing, no one. But something had definitely been wrong. Drawers slightly ajar. A bottle of water half drank that no one claimed. A damp footprint on the tile by the back door. Whoever it was, they were gone now. But they had been there. Watching, maybe. Waiting. We didn't sleep that night. We pushed furniture in front of the doors and stayed huddled in the living room, eyes on the windows, listening for the faintest sound. At some point, the sun started to rise, and we packed our bags in total silence. We left 4 days early. We called the police on our way out and reported what happened. They sent someone to check the property but found nothing. No signs of forced entry. No evidence left behind just our paranoia and the single wet footprint. Every summer, during the first week of June, my family rents a cabin on Lake Varner. It's kind of become our tradition. Me, my parents, and my older brother Nathan, all piling into the car with way too much gear and driving 3 hours up into the mountains to that old wooden house on the water. No cell service, no Wi-Fi, just campfires, card games, and fishing. This particular summer felt different. I was 9 years old, and for the first time ever, my dad bought me and Nathan our own fishing rods. Not the cheap plastic ones either. Real rods, with graphite handles and spinning reels. He made a big show of it the night before we left, holding them up like swords and saying, "This is the year we catch the biggest fish this lake's ever seen." I believed him. We got to the cabin just before dinner, and for once, Nathan and I didn't argue about which room we'd get. We barely even said goodbye to our mom. We just dropped our suitcases on the beds, grabbed our rods, and ran straight to the dock. It was golden hour. The sun had started to dip behind the trees, casting this orange shimmer across the surface of the lake. We fished for 2 hours, casting and reeling, casting and reeling. We only caught a few small bluegill, but we didn't care. We were just happy to be there. By 7:30, the sky was turning purple and our arms were tired. We walked back to the cabin, quiet but content. I remember thinking, tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow we catch the big one. I woke up early the next morning, like really early. The kind of early where the sky is still dark blue and the air smells like pine and wet earth. I crept out of bed and tiptoed past my brother's room, careful not to wake him. I wanted to beat him to the dock. I still remember how cold the wooden planks felt on my bare feet. I sat down at the edge of the dock, feet dangling over the side, and cast my line into the still water. Not even 30 seconds later, I felt a tug. My heart jumped. It was strong, way stronger than anything we'd felt the night before. I braced my feet and leaned back, gripping the rod like Dad showed us. The thing on the other end was fighting me. Whatever it was big. I started reeling, slowly, carefully, not wanting to lose it. That's when something red broke the surface of the water. It wasn't a fish. It was a small red cooler. It bobbed up from the lake like a forgotten toy, the kind with a handle and 2 white latches on the front. The fishing hook had somehow snagged the strap. I remember laughing, thinking it was kind of funny. Who loses a cooler in a lake? I pulled it up onto the dock. It was heavy, way too heavy. For a second, I thought maybe it had food or drinks inside. Maybe someone dropped it from their boat. But then I heard it, a faint clinking sound inside, like something shifting, not sloshing, not ice, something solid. I should have thrown it back. I almost did. But curiosity got the better of me. I knelt beside it, put my hand on the lid and paused. My stomach was doing this weird turning thing. I swallowed, closed my eyes, and opened the cooler. Inside were rocks, just a bunch of medium-sized rocks. I let out this short, nervous laugh, half relief, half confusion. But something about the way they were packed didn't feel right. I reached in and pulled one of them out, then another, and that's when I saw it. A hand. A human hand. Pale, bloated, fingers curled inward like it had been clenched into a fist. Dirt under the nails, bruising around the wrist. The skin was wrinkled and waxy, like it had been underwater for a long time. I screamed. I dropped the cooler, and it rolled, spilling rocks and revealing more of the hand. I turned and ran, bolting down the dock so fast I tripped twice before I even reached the cabin. My screams woke everyone up. My mom was the first to meet me at the door, her face still groggy until she saw how pale I was. Nathan came next, then Dad. I couldn't even form words at first. I just kept pointing, stammering about the dock and the hand and the red cooler. My dad went to check it out, probably thinking it was a prank or some twisted joke. I saw the change in his face when he opened it. The blood drained from his cheeks. He didn't say anything, just stood there frozen, staring down into it. He called the police. By noon, the cabin was surrounded by squad cars and caution tape. A diving team was called in. They searched the lake near the dock and ended up finding 5 more coolers, all in different colors and sizes. Each one contained what they said were partial remains. No full body, just parts. All from the same person. Probably. The officers didn't say much to me. I guess they didn't know what to say. No one knew how long the coolers had been down there, or who had put them there, or why. We packed up that evening. My mom didn't say a word the whole drive home. My dad kept shaking his head, like he was trying to wake up from a dream. Nathan didn't even tease me once. None of us knew how to process it. We didn't go back to Lake Varner the next summer. When we finally did return a year later, things felt different. The dock was the same, the water still and peaceful. But I refused to fish. I couldn't bring myself to go near the edge. Even now, I don't like lakes, and I haven't touched a fishing rod since. Every summer, my mom's side of the family rents a big lake house up in Tennessee. It's kind of a tradition. There's usually about 20 of us. Cousins, aunts, uncles, even grandma and grandpa when they feel up for it. One giant house, one crazy week of hiking, board games, grilling, boating, and late-night campfires. Some of my best memories come from those weeks at the lake. This summer was special for me. I had just turned 13, which meant I was officially one of the big kids. No more bedtime at 9 o'clock. No more board games with the 7-year-olds. I finally got to stay up late on the top patio with the older cousins, Ricky, Amanda, Jaden, and the rest. They were 15, 16, even 17 years old. Just getting to sit with them felt like I'd leveled up in life. That night started like all the others, with Uncle Jim telling scary stories around the fire pit. He's the best storyteller I know. He always starts with a grin, then drops his voice real low and pulls you in like you're watching a movie. His most famous tale, the one we begged for every summer, was the story of the loony lumberjack. As the story goes, there was once a man who lived up in these woods, a quiet lumberjack who went crazy after his wife died in a forest fire. He lost it completely. They say he still wanders the trees at night, with his axe slung over his shoulder, taking revenge on anyone dumb enough to get caught alone in his woods. Uncle Jim always ended the story the same way. "Don't wander off too far at night," he'd say, eyes wide, because he only comes for the ones left behind. Of course, we all laughed it off. We knew it was just a story. But even at 13, something about it still made my skin crawl. Later that night, once the fire died down and the adults went off to bed, the older cousins and I stayed up on the second floor deck, joking and sneaking sodas. The sky was pitch black, except for the lake's moonlit reflection and the trees swaying quietly in the breeze. That's when Ricky turned to me and said, "Want to really earn your stripes?" I raised an eyebrow. "How?" He leaned in. "You go into the woods, alone, for 20 minutes. If you can survive the loony lumberjack, you're officially one of us." The others all grinned like it was some sacred rite of passage. Deep down, I knew It was just a prank. They'd try to scare me and laugh about it later, but part of me wanted to prove I wasn't a little kid anymore. So I nodded. Deal. They handed me a flashlight and pointed toward the trailhead at the edge of the woods. Stay close to the trail, Amanda said. We'll come get you when time's up. The first few minutes weren't bad. The night was quiet. Too quiet, maybe. And I could still hear their voices faintly from the house. I walked about 200 feet in, then stopped and smiled. If they were going to try and scare me, I'd beat them to it. I found a tree with some low branches and climbed up a few feet, flashlight off. I perched there, watching, waiting. Sure enough, not long after, I heard whispers and twigs snapping. I spotted flashlight beams sweeping side to side. My cousins, at least 10 of them, were tiptoeing through the trees, trying not to laugh. I grinned. Gotcha. Just as I was about to climb down to sneak up behind them, I heard another sound. Footsteps, but these weren't light or playful. They were heavy, slow, deliberate. They came from deeper in the woods, in the direction opposite the lake house. My stomach dropped. I looked down from the tree and saw him. A man, older, maybe late 50s, wearing a dark flannel shirt and boots, and slung casually over his shoulder was a massive axe. No way. My first instinct was that it was Ricky or Uncle Jim pulling off the best prank ever. But something about the way the man moved, calm, slow, almost like he was hunting, told me otherwise. He wasn't looking for me. He was walking in the direction of my cousins. I panicked. I didn't want to yell and give myself away, and I didn't know if the man was dangerous or just some weirdo out for a stroll with an axe. But I had to do something. So I grabbed my flashlight and hurled it into the woods, away from the path. It hit a tree with a loud crack and landed in the underbrush. The man paused. Then, without a word, he turned and walked toward the sound. I waited until he was out of sight, then climbed down and sprinted to the path. I found Amanda and Jaden huddled near a bush, giggling. "We need to go. Now," I whispered. "What? Did the scary trees get to you?" Amanda smirked. "No, I'm serious. There's a guy out here, with an axe." They kept laughing, thinking I was just trying to mess with them. That is, until we all heard it. Heavy footsteps, crunching leaves, coming closer. We froze. Jaden turned his flashlight toward the sound, and there he was. The man stepped into view. He wasn't smiling. His eyes scanned us, calm and annoyed. "What the hell are y'all doing on my land?" he said, voice low and cold. That's all it took. We ran. Someone screamed. We didn't care about directions. Just away from him, away from the woods. The lake was closest, so we jumped. One by one, we splashed into the cold water and swam toward the dock by the house. Clothes soaked, hearts racing, too scared to look back. When we finally pulled ourselves up onto the dock and turned around, we saw him, standing at the tree line, watching. He didn't follow, just stared for a moment, then turned and disappeared into the woods. We ran straight to the house, locked every door and window. We didn't tell the adults. No one wanted to be the one to say we were out in the woods after midnight. And Uncle Jim? He didn't say a word the next morning, just gave me a little nod over breakfast like he knew. I still don't think we were in any real danger that night. But the man with the axe was real. And now, every summer when Uncle Jim starts in on his story about the loony lumberjack, I sit a little straighter. Because I know there's always a little truth in every legend. Thanks for stopping by the channel. We hope you enjoyed these 3 truly terrifying stories. If you want to hear more just like this one, subscribe to our channel and turn notifications on so you can be reminded when we post a new long-form video every Tuesday at 10 a.m. If you have a story you'd like to hear read on the channel, email it to us at officialnightmarenarratives@gmail.com, and you might just hear your story read in a future episode. Thanks again for listening, and stay spooky, friends. We'll catch you in the next one.